Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting the like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from throwwawayysis, who says, I think my older sister thinks her boyfriend is cheating on her with me. I don't know if I should be asking for advice because I honestly don't know what to do. For more context, my older sister is 22 and her boyfriend and I are the same age, 19. I'll call my sister Kate and her boyfriend Adam, which is not their real names. So Adam and I were initially acquaintances. We were both in the same year and class in high school and are now in the same university studying the same thing. We were never close enough to be friends, but after he started dating Kate, we did become friends and okay friends since we have a lot in common. I must mention I have no interest or any feelings for Adam, but when Adam and I kind of became friends, my sister didn't like it, which is understandable. So I kept my distance like she wanted, but Adam and I still end up speaking because we have a few classes together, but we only really talk about school or when it has to do with a class or anything Kate related. So Adam had been invited by Kate over for dinner, and he asked me if I wanted a ride home in his car since we were still going to the same place after all. I didn't think much of it, so I agreed, and we had just come from evening classes, and it was dark out and I was too exhausted. Most of the time during the ride I was actually asleep, so we didn't even talk at all. But when we went into the house, I was heading up to my room when Kate grabbed me and pulled me back and asked why Adam and I came back together. Adam immediately tried to tell her why, but she started shouting at him and telling him to stop talking for me and to stop defending me too. Her shouting caused my parents to rush to us. She then started screaming at me, telling me to stop being jealous and to find my own man to drive me home. She then said she's noticed everything and she hates how I think every man wants me, and she calls me desperate too. She was also tightly grabbing me, digging her nails in my wrist, which hurt, so I yanked my arm off and she shoved me. Adam tried to block her, but she began to scream and cry for him to stop defending me and that he was her boyfriend, not mine. My parents tried to calm her down, but she was shaking and breathing like heavily and fast. She was also looking at me and I felt and still feel so shaken up by the scene. My mum started yelling at me to leave the room until she was better and said that was triggering her more by being there. I felt confused and accused. So I tried to tell them that I had no idea what I did wrong and tried to explain, but my sister started making these sounds while shaking and like panting and glaring at me, which honestly scared me. My mum yelled at me to leave again, and I did. I heard them ask Adam to leave too, and he also did, and later texted me and asked me if my sister was okay, but I honestly have been too scared to leave my room. I feel a bit scared that my sister might do something to me. I've honestly cried a lot and I feel a bit shaken up because of seeing my sister like that. I don't know if it's a panic attack or a breakdown, but she looked more angry than anything. I feel a bit responsible for her having such a reaction since she told me before to stay away from Adam, so I wish I never took the ride home with him. I don't know who to talk to about this and I'm still in my room. I know I've said this a lot already, but I'm genuinely scared to leave my room because of everything. I feel like my parents both think it's my fault for my sister acting that way. Butterfly Blue says, her insecurities are not your problem. If you're scared, see if there's anybody who will house you. I actually think you should do that now because those types of girls will try to hurt you. You need to have a conversation with your parents and don't let them gaslight or manipulate you into thinking that you did anything wrong because you didn't. Hope your reply is saying, thank you so much. Right now I don't really want to talk to my family, since I feel like if I go to them and my sister sees me, she might act that way again, which I don't want. Regarding my living situation, I don't know if I feel comfortable living with anyone next to me since I feel a bit like a burden. Another commenter says, I think Adam needs to break up with your sister. She's jealous and toxic and it's not a good look. You did nothing wrong. You and Adam are cohorts. Your parents were wrong to send you away. This whole situation is from your sister and whatever scenario she made up in her head. Heavy Entrepreneur says, OP, is your sister normally like this, or is this strange / way out of character? This honestly sounds like she might be having some sort of mental health episode. especially given Mum telling both you and Adam to leave Kate's side because she was being triggered. You're 100% not in the wrong for anything, but you might want to steer clear of your sister. Stop trying to explain or defend yourself, just keep your distance for your own safety. If she's mentally unwell, there's really no reasoning with her. Paranoid delusions seem really compelling for someone having them. Opie says she's always been a bit possessive and Adam is her first and serious relationship, so I kind of feel like she's new to feeling like this. It's not too strange since she does have anger management issues sometimes, but it was my first time seeing her have such a reaction. Thank you for your advice too. And one final comment from Sleepy Egg who says, I'm so sorry, your parents should have told her to calm down. Shouting and getting aggressive by shoving you and digging her nails in. I don't get people that feel like this. My boyfriend will go for walks or runs with my sister. Both want to lose weight. I have dodgy knees and can't walk far. So they go. She vents about her husband and kids, lol. I don't mind. I'd rather them get on than her hate him or whatever. She disliked a couple of my exes I found out after. She was only civil for my sake. I'd much rather my sister gets home safe when it's dark out, then get jealous as my boyfriend drove her. If anything, he would do it for a woman he worked with if they were stuck out drunk and alone. I love him for that. He is a safe man, and people feel safe with him. To me, it shows I have an incredible guy. She obviously has some insecurities regarding you. Whether you're more traditionally beautiful or someone she may have liked or dated called you hot once or something silly. But that's a her problem, not a you problem. The fact that your parents totally enabled that behavior is sad too. So Opie did update the post and said sorry for the delay in posting an update. I'd taken a break off my phone and social media due to harassment I'll later mention in this post. I'd like to thank everyone that gave me advice and encouragement. I didn't really expect it, so I'm very grateful. I'd first like to begin by saying that everyone was right. I should have left my house for some time after Kate had such a reaction towards me. So, after Kate's meltdown a week ago, Adam actually started keeping his distance from Kate and our family. I did too. I'd only leave my room to go to school or to get dinner, which I had in my room. My mum also advised me to do that because she was worried about how Kate would be to me, especially since Adam wasn't talking to her much at the moment. But he would still text me occasionally if he had something to tell me about in terms of school, but he wouldn't even ask about Kate. So about 3 or so days ago after that happened, I was at school and got a text from Kate, and she basically told me that she hated me and that if I come home that day, she'd actually kill me. I was so confused. I didn't know what I had done since I hadn't spoken to her for some time. I forwarded the message to my parents. I was also upset since she was threatening me out of nowhere. Plus, she was insulting me a lot too. Kate called me. When I answered, she was crying and screaming at me saying it's my fault and that I never want to see her happy. I took away someone so important to her just because I don't have a man for myself. I tried to tell her first that I didn't know what happened, but she kept saying, "Liar, it's your fault. Liar, it's your fault." Then when I hung up and went to ask Adam about it, he told me he had ended things because Kate had started not only calling his phone a lot, but also his parents. She was also texting his friends on Instagram, asking them to talk to him so that he could talk to her again. Adam also said that she started threatening him too, but with her life. Like saying if he actually leaves her, she's going to kill herself and it will be his fault. I didn't believe him at first actually, since I had never seen or heard my sister being like this. So he showed me the text as proof and told me that he couldn't handle being in such a relationship since he now is afraid of her. And he said he was also scared of me or interacting with me just in case Kate would hurt me again for it. I called my mum and tried to explain everything to her after I was done with all my classes. And I even had Adam there to speak to them just in case she wouldn't believe me or wouldn't believe what Adam had told me. But my mum just started yelling at me. She told me what I was doing was wrong, like communicating with someone who caused my sister so much pain, and even trying to get her to speak to him. She then refused to speak to him or even hear the reason he broke up with her because all he did was hurt Kate to her, and said that me continuing to speak to him meant I didn't care about my sister. I then told her how Kate was threatening me, and she told me that it was just out of anger, and I should stay away from Adam if I don't want to make Kate angrier. I kept trying to get her to understand how I felt, but she kept dismissing me so much and yelling at me too that I cried and had to end the call. I stayed in school with Adam for some time and we spoke about what I should do. and mostly because I was just scared of going home and wanted to talk to someone who understood me. Not to trigger Kate. Kate was spamming me with texts asking if I was with Adam and what was taking me so long to go home. She was also calling me a lot when I didn't answer her calls. She called me through my mum's phone, and when I answered and heard it was her, I hung up after she said she knew I was with Adam. I honestly felt so exhausted by all of this and had to even face the fear of asking a friend who slept in the dorms if I can stay with her. I told her everything too, and we're close, so I've been here for a few days. I told my parents I was with a friend to prep for some exams, and both of them, especially my father, insist I go home, especially since I'm the youngest. They don't trust me to stay out of the home since first I have nothing on me, but I'm actually just scared to go home that I don't care. My parents think I'm overreacting about Kate's threats and even made me speak to her on the phone, and she told me she didn't mean it, but I don't believe her. They're saying I'm trying to ruin Kate's name by involving others into family matters. Like what? I had to turn my phone off for some time because of Kate constantly calling and texting threats and insults to me. And when I tell my parents, they literally made excuses. Oh, and on Saturday, all three of them came to my school to try and find me. I was lucky not to bump into them, but Adam and one of our other friends unfortunately were spotted by Kate. But Adam didn't want to talk to them, so he avoided them and warned me about it. And my friend who did talk to them told me my sister asked her if I was staying with Adam. My parents told her to tell me to come home and to take their calls. So yeah, I apologize if this post feels all over the place. I tried to explain everything for everyone who wanted an update. I'm still so stressed about everything, and keeping my distance isn't helping like I thought it would. I'm constantly worried that my sister or my parents will find me and that I will have to speak to them on this, which I don't want to. But I know I have to go home soon since my parents are insisting on it. One of the top comments on this one says, so let's make sure I have this straight. Your sister threatened your life and your parents basically responded with, well, why did you make her angry? What the hell? Honestly, I'd file a police report if you can, or at least talk to the police to start a paper trail that she threatened bodily harm against you already. Yo-Yo says call the police. 1, she threatened to kill you. 2, she told Adam she would kill herself. The psych ward would have a field day trip with her. Find a way to get your things. Find a way to get new living arrangements, then cut all 3 lunatics out of your life. I got downvoted under your first post for saying your mother is a piece of shit for enabling your sister and taking her side, but I still stand by that. She backed your sister in this, and look how things have escalated. She threatened to kill you if you came home. Naturally, you stayed away from home, so they came looking for you instead. What are you supposed to do? Go home and be attacked, or stay away and be attacked when your psycho sister finds you? The police exist for a reason. And I just came out the back of that one thinking the parents really are not helping this situation. The way that your sister is acting, it just screams that she needs some sort of help. Obviously not excusing the behavior because OP's in a terrifying situation themselves. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now this next story comes from the Today I Fucked Up subreddit by saying, today I fucked up by not realizing I didn't have a master's degree. I'm on mobile, sorry for the formatting. This happened yesterday, but I guess the fuck up technically spans approximately 5 years. I finished my master's degree in late 2019, or at least I thought I did, after a grueling year of working part-time and writing my dissertation. At long last, I got it finished, presented it in November, got my grade immediately after. My dad was even there to watch the presentation. Good times. Because the holidays were right around the corner, I didn't have my diploma until February of 2020, and well, I think we all know what happened to the world right after. When I got home after getting the diploma, I scanned it so I would have a digital copy to send to employers and stuff, put the physical version safely away, and proceeded to not really think about it anymore. That's where the fuck up began. To be honest, I didn't even really look at it super carefully. Writing my dissertation was so incredibly exhausting and draining that I was just glad it was over and wanted to focus on my work. Years went by. I got through the pandemic, my career as a freelancer started gaining momentum. I fell in love, even moved to a different country. Recently, I changed my name and emailed my university to ask about getting new copies of my diplomas with the new name. Somewhere in one of the replies from the university, they asked, Are you perhaps referring to your specialization diploma? You have no record of you finishing a dissertation, only all the other classes in the master's degree. My heart dropped. I looked at the digital copy I've kept for years, even dug up the physical version just to be sure, and lo and behold, while the diploma does mention the master's degree by its name very early on the middle of the second page it does specify that it's a specialization. I have to admit, I panicked. I scoured my old emails for something, anything that could help me prove that I didn't imagine the whole thing, and wrote back explaining that I did finish my dissertation and asking what can be done to try and understand what was actually happening here. They haven't replied yet. Hopefully they will in the next few days. I know the professor who was my advisor can vouch for the fact that the presentation did indeed happen, but I'm terrified that, because it's been so long, nothing can really be done about it anymore. I guess time will tell. I honestly feel heartbroken. Thinking that all the hard work could go to waste makes me want to cry. More than anything, I'm furious at myself for not paying more attention and catching this sooner. I feel like such an idiot. Wish me luck figuring this out. So someone says to OP, can you not contact the people who graded it that might remember you? Seems like a massive fuck up on the side of the college. Surely that's something you can fix. OP says, I only clearly remember one of them, and I'm not sure she'll be able to help me directly. If the guys I'm currently emailing can't help me much, I might contact the director of the degree directly and ask about it. They will probably have records of who graded it. Commodore says, I've not done my master's, but surely you'd have payment records, right? Do you pay for this part like a class? OP says, I had to pay tuition depending on how many classes I signed up for each year, and the dissertation counted as a class. The fact that I paid for it doesn't necessarily prove I finished it, but I'm sure I could get the records from my bank if I needed to. Commodore says, don't you have a record on your online student account of which classes you enrolled for and when? I've only done undergrad, but for that on the transcript it lists classes and grades with the date taken. Would the class for this, is that how it works, show up on a transcript or in your online student records? OP says, I did once, but I can't access my online student portal anymore. It's been too long. Next time I visit my home country, I guess I can stop by the university and try to figure out what records they actually have. But I'm hoping the people I'm emailing will at least have some information for me. Commodore says, bro, what? This is like my worst nightmare. OP says, I can't even sleep, I'm so stressed about it. Commodore says to OP, when I did my theses, PhDs defend dissertations, masters defend theses, I had to have it printed, bound and retained by the library. Did you not have to do any of that? I had to submit mine to the Department of Graduate Studies for acceptance before I could even defend, and I still have those emails to this date 15 years later. Also, my diploma clearly states Masters of Science is the award, but yours doesn't say that. OP says, I thought I did, but they only asked me for digital versions and a CD before they let me defend it. I didn't think they would let me defend it if it wasn't good to go, but I did consider that might have been the problem. If that's the case, maybe there's nothing to be done and I'm even more of an idiot than I thought. I sent all the digital versions I had too, but never got replies to those emails, so I don't know if I can still access that information. My diploma states the award is a specialization rather than a master's. Edit to add, I just remembered something. I did get a couple of copies made, included a printed bound version and a CD, but when I went to hand everything in, the person told me the printed version wasn't necessary. I clearly remember I was pissed for wasting the extra money on the expensive printed version. And there was a few comments accusing OP of lying because it's not called a dissertation, and some people saying show us proof, etc. OP says, I understand that some of this might be confusing because the names of things can be different in different countries, and I wrote this post while incredibly distraught and sleep deprived. English is also not my first language. I know I maybe should have clarified that in the post. I try to explain in a way that hopefully makes more sense. I call it a dissertation because that's what they call it in my university. I'm aware that more than often it's not called a thesis, but it is what it is. Here is the degree's webpage. If you click on, here we go, Planes de Estudo, probably absolutely butchered that, and scroll down, it clearly shows that the unit is called dissertation/project/professional practice. The dissertation or thesis, I suppose, takes 1 full year, and I actually took 1 extra year to do it, so I could focus on the thesis while I was also working. During that time, I considered a couple of professors as advisors and met regularly with the one I ended up choosing. I still have plenty of correspondence with her in my email. Since the time of posting, I've been taking time during my breaks to look into what information the university actually has regarding my theses and my participation in the master's degree. And as it turns out, my thesis has been published. I found it in an online repository. I'm not too keen on linking it on Reddit comment, but I'll be more than happy to DM you the link if you want, or to anyone who might be interested in reading it. No, fair warning, it's really not that special. To conclude, I did have a thesis committee. My thesis was published and I did defend it. They let me know my grade right after I defended it, as in I did the defense. The committee asked me to step outside while they deliberated, and after 15 minutes or so they called me back in to let me know my final grade. Hope this clarifies some of the confusion. Then OP left it with an edit and said, "You guys, I found my dissertation in the university's online repository. It was published after all. I'm emailing them again with this information. Hopefully it'll be enough proof that this is most likely an administrative error. Tomorrow is a holiday in my home country, so I'm not expecting to hear from them until Monday, but I'll make an update post as soon as I have more news. Also, I understand that in most English-speaking countries you write and defend a thesis for a master's degree, but I'm not from an English-speaking country. In my university they call it a dissertation. I'm sorry that caused some confusion." So, 5 days after that, OP did return, and they said, "Hello everyone, a few days ago I posted about how it took me 5 years to notice that what I thought was a master's diploma was actually just a specialization, and my university didn't actually have any record of me finishing the degree. Some of you asked for an update, so here it is. First of all, I want to thank you all for the comments on my original post. I tried to keep up with them, but I have to admit I didn't expect my post to get so much attention. Once again, sorry for the mobile formatting. The TLDR will be at the bottom. I'm super happy to let you know that I have good news. For those of you who guessed this was probably an administrative error, you were correct. On the same day I made the post, I found my dissertation, or thesis I guess, in the university's repository, which means that it did end up getting published like it was supposed to, and I emailed the university again with this information. I also took some time throughout the weekend to email my advisor and gather some information on who else I could potentially reach out to escalate the matter, if I didn't get a reply from the people I already emailed. But fortunately, it seems that won't be necessary. Yesterday, at long last, I heard back from the university. It turns out that when I finished my master's, they were transitioning between IT systems, and something in my records didn't get properly updated. Fortunately, they told me they were already in the process of fixing it and apologized profusely for the mix-up. I hate that something so small caused such an issue. I'm kinda super pissed at them for the fuck-up, but at least I'm happy it seems to be a simple and fixable problem. It might have caused me a ton of anxiety, but I do still have my degree, and I'm getting my diploma. Only took 5 years and a couple of meltdowns. Lol. Now I'm off to write to my advisor again. Let her know everything should be fine. I feel kinda silly for wasting her time like this, but oh well. Thanks again for all the support and advice, and to those who have been through a similar situation, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It really sucks that this apparently happens so often. Hearing about your experiences made me feel way less alone, but this kind of stuff shouldn't be happening so much in the first place. Have a good one, Reddit. Thanks for listening to me. No, I've never done any kind of degree at all. Don't even know how the majority of it works, if I'm being completely honest, but I can only imagine the anxiety that you was feeling in that moment, and I'm just so glad it did work out for OP in the end, especially after all the work that you put into it before. But what do you guys make of this situation? Have you ever heard of your own mix-ups regarding this kind of thing? Because in the comments it seemed to, I don't want to say common, but it seemed to be popping up all the time. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up.